Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm News Jester. My name is Junior. Today let's take a look at Spinmaster. That's a toy company, and they're making these DC figures, and the brand name is called Metal Force. So this is the packaging in itself. As you can see, it's not a box packaging. There's nothing special about the packaging. Very, very simple, the old way, where you have this one. This thing is not even within the clamshell. Um, Also, I noticed there's a card of some sort over here. There it is on the side of the box, and here is the back of the box. And I really don't care about the packaging, so I don't really mind. As you know, I have been trying to find a DC equivalent of the 3.75 height for my Star Wars and to expand that universe. This is the old Spin Master design. Some of their figures are still clinging to these designs, and the reason why I never got into it's too bulky for me. It's too toyetic. It's too much the way it was in the old ways, where the figures are bulky and not really proportioned. Now this Batman seems to be a little bit better proportioned, but let's talk about that later on. I'm gonna go ahead and start clamping this out while I maybe talk. Anyway, this figure, or this toy, I got from Amazon for $14.99, and I believe that's the regular retail price. It wasn't on sale or anything like that. $14.99 for what? For everything that you're seeing in here, right? So I am not going to pursue this toy line, mainly because I've measured it against Star Wars, and it's slightly too big. They're somewhat inconsistent with their figures, not in terms of height, but in terms of design, because there's a Superman equivalent of this one, and they're reverting back to this mold, which I don't want to get into. In desperation, I might, if it had been the proper size, but hold on a second. Here is a properly scaled 3.75 Star Wars figure. This is from the DC Universe Infinite Crisis. As you can see, they line up perfectly fine for what I want them to be. And even though this thing has really huge hands, the anatomical proportions are good enough for me. Now this one, the Spin Master ones, unfortunately are just slightly too big. I'm not sure if that's showing. I'm going to compare it feet to feet. So as you can see, it's like a quarter of an inch way too tall, which might be fine for superheroic physiques for these characters, but it just doesn't work for me. Now, if I have these on my circular stance, it would be a little bit higher, and they would actually be a little bit more closer towards armored troops for the Star Wars line. So it's almost forgivable, but it's just slightly too much for me. But proportion wise, this is a really, really good, it would have been a really good compromise, but that's just that quarter of an inch I can't take. Anyway, I wanted to review this for a completely different reason. So rotation should have full rotation, but mine is kind of stuck right now. I think it's in a ball joint, but I can only do it side to side. The rotation on the shoulder is this. There is no bicep cut, but there is an elbow twist cut, as you like so. There's nothing on the wrist. It looks like my elbow is okay. There's rotation right there. There's nothing on the waist. Waist is solid plastic. The hip leg is on a ball joint. There's an actual thigh cut, and there's a single joint on the knee that's not even doing a 90 degree. because of the sculpt. If it weren't for the sculpt, maybe you'll do 90. There's nothing on the ankles. Very, very basic stuff. But again, this is $15. This Batman comes with some accessories, actually. Well, not, I wouldn't say some. For what it's worth, it's coming in with these. So it's coming in with these two accessories, which is not freaking bad comparing, thinking about the fact that it's just a 4-inch figure for $15. You would think that this and this one would be worth $15 alone, and yet they still put on these two accessories. I don't know what this is for. It's not a shield. You can't hook it up as a shield, so yeah, I don't know what this is for. Maybe it goes to the robot. Anyway, then I just noticed it's got some sort of a base here. Metal Force. So I'm assuming that goes onto the card that's in here. Yeah, it's supremely stuck in there. I'm gonna rip this box up because I wanted to see if there's anything in the bottom, and there's nothing, so that's all done. Now, geez Louise, this is really a very, very surprising toy line. $15, right? So I'm gonna be valuing this based on the items that we're getting. This is heavy stock card back. You can see how thick it is. I mean, look, you can literally see how thick this is. I can probably bend it, but this is literally thicker than the cardboard box they used on the packaging. It's got some sort of metallic sheen to it, and I think you can kind of put this up like so if you want to display it. Look at that. That's kind of amazing. And it's got this peg hook system, so I'm assuming if you have multiple of these, you can start attaching it on the line up. So I'm gonna say that adds to the value of the figure included in the price. And then on top of that, you have this robot over here, $15, right? So let's check out the robot. Does it have nothing on the head articulation? It does have shoulder movement, but only up and down. Nothing on to the side, but the elbow does have a side-to-side movement. There's nothing on the wrist. Very blank. Same thing on the other side. There's nothing on the waist. As for the hip joint, it's basically, you can see how they've done it. It's kind of funny in a way, but it's just up and down, but it's on a ball joint. It pops off so easily, but you can put it back. And the plastic quality is fairly thin, but $15, right? So let me just cut this out. I don't even know why they did this, because I don't think there's any knee articulation. But it even has perforation lines here, so okay. Yeah, there's no knee articulation, so I don't know why they even packed this in plastic. That does not make sense. Was there anything, because maybe because it was exposed in packaging? I don't know. There's nothing in there, right? Here's the thing though. This is an actual exosuit. So you lift that up and lift this up, and there's an empty cavity in there, and I think you can, okay, it pops off over here, but you can open this up like so, and this one like that. Why would you do that? Because you can actually put the figure inside this. Now this is kind of funny because it doesn't. It has a bit of a difficult time putting it in there. He's just basically just standing there. You close this up again, and you can't really articulate at this point because he's in there hampering articulation. Close this up. If you want to display Batman in his exosuit, you can still kind of see his face over there, and close this up over here. $15. Now this one apparently is where you put in this thing, but I don't think there's an actual gimmick to it. I don't see any trigger or anything like that. And apparently this goes in here. Again, I don't... Oh, this one has... Jeez Louise. $15. I know, I keep saying $15 because I can't believe this thing is $15 that you're paying for. So this one doesn't have it. And when I put it in, I didn't feel any kind of spring resistance. So, okay, so like I said, I am not going to continue buying this line. This is kind of not for me. I don't want a smaller DC line. I only want a smaller DC line because I want something comparable to the height of Star Wars universe to expand my 3.75 universe, and this just does not fit. But for $15 you get a great figure, good enough, articulated enough, well proportioned enough. For $15 you get a robot. That's kind of, yes, it's very, very limited in range, but you know, for $15 that robot turns into a mech suit that you can put your figure in. For $15 you have a card bag that's pretty strong and a stand of some sort that you can put your card on. This is what you're getting for $15. Base price $15 equal to 10. I'm gonna start out with 10 because this is a figure that this is a line that I'm not gonna continue. I'm getting exactly what I thought I was gonna get. I'm gonna start slowly increasing it by the fact that it's got this that really doesn't need to be here, but they added it on, and it's a nice display pattern if you want to, and I'll put that at 11. The play factor I think is good enough. I mean, for a kid, this is great. I think 12. So I'm gonna say this is like a 13 value. The value in this one's freaking high, and I applaud Spinmaster for providing us with this kind of a toy line for such a low price. I think the value on this one is really good. If I were DC, if I didn't have any DC figures, the DC collectibles, DC Universe Classics, the McFarlane DC, if I didn't have any of those and I was just looking for a good DC figure, this would be a primary candidate for it. We're not talking about like immensely good paint detail, but you get enough for this one. It's very basic, not a lot of paint application, but it's good crisp paint. Good play factor, and it's cheap. It's freaking cheap. I can't believe how cheap this is. Now, I mean, I really do applaud this company for going into this lineup and providing us with this toy for such a good price. The only problem I'm having with the company is that it seems to be like all over the place. Now, this company even has play sets, got vehicles. I'm looking at right now the Metal Force Transforming Batwing for $27. It comes with 2 figures, and it's a huge vehicle. Like, I think it should be around this high. You can look it up on Amazon if you want. But this also, they also have with 12-inch figures that are, I think, $12 or $10. They have a Dark Side and Superman 4-inch 2-pack for $20. So it looks like each figure is around $10. So $10 for one of these guys, that's kind of weird since this is $15 and that's $10. they did this. Spinmaster is the one that came with the RC Batmobile. I have some of them in my collection. The Batwing, the Flash versus the Flash with the Batman movie. You should know where Spinmaster is coming from. They have the 3 points or 1/18 scale Batmobile for $20. Batwing for $20. They're really cheap, and I really hope that if they were to just tweak this a little bit, honestly, if they made this slightly smaller to scale with the 3.75 and not the 4-inch line, I would have been all over this lineup really quickly. If they were to solidify their sculpture so it's always like this kind of physique rather than this one, then I would be all over this line immediately. But unfortunately they're not. But still, for what you're getting, this is a great toy that you can give to any of your kids, any of your nephews, nieces, and that might like to play with DC stuff. I think they're coming in a really great price point with a lot of playability factor for people. I can't believe they even have this launching thing. Oop, it's broken already. And I can't believe they have that. But yeah, that's it for my review of Spinmaster's Metal Force. This is the Batman 4-inch minifigure with an armor suit. You can get it from Amazon at $15. $15. Jeez Louise. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys again soon, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.